Glad to have you. And we're super excited. We were hoping to have this in person, but unfortunately, COVID did not agree with us. So therefore, we're here with Zoom and our little tiles. So glad to have you. Um, so today you're going to be hearing from some amazing individuals. This is something that we love to do, and we're hoping that you enjoy this event and are able to hopefully host some interns this summer. So at this point, I would love to introduce Kemuel Bermudez Cotto. Kemuel is an alumni of Hartford High. He graduated this past year. He is currently a student at UConn. And Kemuel is here to talk to you about his experience as an intern, as a high school intern, and how he has used his experience and to let you know what he's doing now. Kemuel?
Hello, everybody. As Betsy mentioned, um, my name is Kemuel Bermudez Coto, and have been working with ReadyCT ever since I was a freshman in high school. So I worked with them throughout all 4 years. Um, and I just wanted to say, first of all, my main language is not English. So if I do say something that needs to be clarified, please do let me know, and I will be happy to clarify that afterwards. Um, And well, I guess some of the first thing that I should mention, some of the first things that I want to talk about is especially the things that helped me the most, right? And I think for me, one of the things that impacted me the most were workshops, because when you're like 15, 16, and there's a lot of things in terms of professionalism that you would think are, the standard and the usual things, but for kids like me, we didn't really know those things. And thanks to a lot of the workshops that we took, it helped us get prepared, just to kind of reach the expectations of what a young adult going into the workforce should do. So general things like keeping your cell phone off, or how to address your manager, being on time. If something happens, should you talk to colleagues first, or should I talk to your manager first? Things like that. That for you guys it may seem the usual thing, but for us it was very confusing. And so thanks to a lot of their workshops, I was able to kind of understand a base idea of what those things should be. Um, Another thing that I wanted to mention in terms of workshops as well was that they taught me how to use Microsoft Suite, and I'm sure you guys have heard of it from now. But whether it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even if you're using OneDrive or anything like that, it's things that you probably use on a daily basis or in the past have used on a daily basis. And being able to know those skills is something that goes a long way. I mean, it's a tool that you'll never forget because you'll be using constantly. So workshops for me were incredibly helpful. And in terms of opportunities and scholarships, internships that I've had, um, one of my main internships that I had was Pell Labs, because it was my first real internship, and it exposed me to the work environment, right? It exposed me to a lot of things that I wasn't really used to. Like, for example, when you're in a classroom and you have a question, you always, raise your hand and talk to your teacher. But when you're working, you can't be bothering your manager every 5 seconds because something isn't going the right way or something isn't going the way you would like it to go. And so it really taught me how to quickly react to those unforeseen circumstances. I want to properly talk to your higher ups, right, as I mentioned, and how to be as straightforward when it comes to an issue as possible so that there are the least amount of confusions. Um, Lastly, one thing that I wanted to talk about was my biggest scholarship. I'm sorry, my biggest internship, um, when it comes to value and how much I gained from them, and that was the Naf Future Ready Lab internship by Raytheon Technologies. In there, I was working with Jana Koval on aftermarket operations, a department of theirs, and it was very important for me because I learned a lot. But if I had to sum it up, everything I learned is, while working in a team, it is very important to know what everybody's weaknesses and strengths are, right? And because we were working in teams, I was able to finally realize that, sometimes, like, even though you may be good at something or you may be bad at something, you might have to do something that you don't like. Or let's say somebody's really good at doing this, well, then they'll have a an extra support, or they'll have more work in that side of the assignment that we're doing. So it really just kind of helped me visualize things in a more professional way. Um, it kind of helped me learn how to distribute loads of work into different people, which was very, very useful, because in the past everybody would just kind of say, yeah, I'll do this, I guess. So that helped me out a lot. And last thing that I want to talk about is, while I was an intern over there, I was actually able to start developing my professional network. What I mean by that is meeting people through LinkedIn, keeping their business cards, and just kind of start creating more professional relationships. Whereas before, like if we meet through social media, or maybe we're talking or emailing, it's a little bit more personal. But once you create that more professional relationship, I feel like, it goes a long way, especially now that I'm going into college and I have more opportunities and more things that I can do. I can always reach out to those people, or have them reach out to me if there's any opportunities. So I think overall, it was incredibly helpful in terms of learning what a top company can give you and provide for you, as well as how to grow as an individual. And again, none of this would have been possible without ReadyCT and being a part of them all through our high school. So yeah, I just wanted to say again, thank you to ReadyCT and everybody here for uh, all that you've done, and I appreciate you guys. And sorry if I'm a little bit nervous.
That's okay, Kemuel. You did amazing. So thank you, Kemuel, for everything. And Kemuel is sharing an experience that we offer all of our students. And as a high school graduate and a college student now, these are the benefits that he has been able to gain and be able to use. At this time, I would love to introduce our executive director, Shannon Marimon, and she's going to be talking about ReadyCT.
Good morning, everybody. As Betsy said, I'm very sorry we're not all together in person. That would have been the ideal, but we've made it work with technology. And in fact, I think in some ways we were able to have a broader reach because of that. And we already heard some people have a 9 o'clock meeting, so this makes for an efficient morning. But like Betsy said, and hearing from Kemuel, we hope we can just provide more of that this morning and give you a real sense of what this internship program is all about and how we go about recruiting and preparing students and employers for the opportunity. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. All right. And this is something we will provide after the event, so anybody can refer to it afterwards. Our first slide, we just have a reference to Kemuel. Again, thank you, Kemuel, for presenting your story. Our objectives for today, really briefly, we want to introduce you to some of the key partners in the work that we're doing. This takes a very collective effort and could not be done without any one of these partners, and that includes the school systems, school leadership, faculty within the schools, the students and their families, and then employers and community partners. And we're going to be specifically talking about what this program has meant from that vantage point. We're also going to go over what the program involves in a bit more detail, as well as provide those insights from the actual experiences that students and employers have had. And then a brief agenda follows that order of events. So just really briefly, ReadyCT, for those who don't know, we are a statewide nonprofit that works on better aligning our educational systems with our workforce needs. So we're constantly communicating between the K-12 education space and the world of business and work, and trying to break down those silos that have existed, for various reasons, and make sure that there's a seamless integration. At the end of the day, all students that are graduating from our public school system are going to eventually be finding themselves moving towards a career. And we want to make sure that we're providing as much exposure early and often for those individuals so that they can feel like they're set up for success, just like Kemuel said, with experiences that really prepare them for what that's going to be about, what's going to happen when they get to the workplace, how are they going to need to think about the application of the skills and the learning that they've had, and maybe find out even more importantly what they don't want to be doing. I think one of the things we pride ourselves on is having an opportunity for students in a lower stakes environment kind of feel out what are the different career opportunities out there so that they can make really informed decisions when they advance on to continued education and training. So our mission as an organization is to advance academic excellence and career-connected learning, and we do so across the state of Connecticut at both a policy level and systems level, as well as through direct programming like this internship program. And our career pathways work, which is really the focus for today's session, is something that has expanded quite significantly in the last few years. As an organization, we have seen an increasing demand on the part of both school systems and employers to, again, create more alignment and partnership between those communities so that we ensure that our students and our graduates are adequately ready for the workplace, and in turn, the employer community can learn about the students that are coming up through the system and just the way that perspectives may be changing, the way they may be using social media and communications differently, and all sorts of things. So we see this very much as a mutually beneficial relationship where each gets to learn from one another. So our program follows a design that is in most cases based on what is called the Naf Framework. Naf is a national model that has been around for over 40 years, and it was actually developed by Sandy Weil from Citigroup. So it was created by the business community, and it's kind of a very logical structure for how to think about a high quality career pathway. And it really involves a commitment and a intentional design of creating a career themed pathway within a school. In some cases, it's a school within a school, and in other cases, it's a wall-to-wall full school model. The three other major elements of the framework include having an industry advisory board, and each one of the career themed pathways has a dedicated board, which is composed of representatives from that industry as well as other community partners. And they very much take that program as something that they champion and serve as an ambassador for everywhere they go. So thinking about what are opportunities that will give more access to the students within that pathway. And each of our advisory boards is incredibly committed. They meet monthly at a minimum, often with subcommittee work in between, looking for ways to just, again, expand the experience for the students. The other element is focused on the curriculum. So thinking about an industry-informed curriculum for each pathway that has some of the industry advisory board perspective as well as other industry partners to make sure that it brings that learning to life in ways that is relevant and meaningful for the work that the students are ultimately going to be engaging in an internship experience or beyond. And then the last but not least, what we'll be talking about mostly today is the work-based learning continuum. So thinking about a sequence of events that students experience, and we start as early as middle school, even elementary school, if we're able, to start exposing students to the career pathways that await them. We want to get lots of information out to students and their families so that they understand that this is an option, and get them excited. And one of the things we know is that you don't know what you don't know. So the more you can give that exposure and access earlier on, the more the doors will open for students to think about these opportunities. And then we build on that over the course of grades 9 through 12 with a series of experiences that start to move towards the actual application of the learning, which really culminates with the paid internship experience, which is what we're here to talk about today. And that really, it doesn't just come out of the blue. It's not the first thing that a student will experience. It's something that we've scaffolded very carefully so that the student is as well prepared as possible for that internship experience. And simultaneously, we do work with the employers to make sure that the employer is feeling ready for having a successful experience. This is a quick highlight that, again, this will be in the deck that we share around of the current pathways. So for those who joined us last year, you may recall that at the time we had 3 career themed pathways. You can see that this has expanded quite significantly over the past year. There's been interest from many districts to think about these career themed pathways. We have been supporting Hartford Public Schools going back to 2008, and there has been an expansion of the curriculum pathways within that district, 7 in total as of right now. We've also expanded into New Britain Public Schools, and we are planning to launch with Bristol as well as East Hartford Public Schools. So all within the greater Hartford area, a whole variety of themes within those pathways. And so we are trying to grow the pie and grow the opportunities that are available for all of these students. And we know that there's a lot of interested employers out there, and we want to serve as the kind of the conduit through which we make those connections. So we, again, we'll send this out, but very much want employers who are on the call to look at the list of schools and the themes and think about which ones align with your industry and where you might think about hosting a student from that particular program. So now I have the great pleasure of turning it over to my colleague, Christy Pentima. He's the president and CEO of CBIA, the Connecticut Business and Industry Association. ReadyCT is an affiliate of CBIA, and we are co-located in Hartford. We work really hand in glove to ensure that we are accessing the business community in order to make those opportunities available for students. And I cannot say enough about how critical this partnership has been and how much we kind of go to our colleagues at CBIA to look for resources and just make sure that this is the most optimal experience that students can have. So with that, I will turn it over to Chris.
Thanks, Shannon. Good morning, everybody. I can't say enough about Shannon, so all the good work she said about me, just triple them and back at her. But thanks to all of you for joining us this morning. I know we've got some funding supporters on the call, some folks from the business community, and of course our partners in the academic community joining us. So as Shannon said, I'm the president and CEO of CBIA, which is Connecticut's business association. We've got about 5,000 business members across the state of Connecticut in every industry sector, ranging from one-person companies all the way up to 8,000, 9,000 person companies, all of whom work with ReadyCT and Shannon and her team on the Career Pathways program. So thanks for having me. I mentioned that last year's meeting, which was also virtual, it would have been nice to be in person. That this is what energizes me the most at CBIA, our affiliation with ReadyCT, specifically the Pathways program and the internship opportunity. If we were in person, you would see me walking around the room. Maybe Gloria would be the only person in the room with more energy than me, but this is something that really energizes me from my head down to my toes, because this is addressing really the number one need in Connecticut. And to me, it's the proven solution for addressing the number one need, which is growing our workforce. And as I mentioned last year, I have firsthand experience with the pain of growing workforce, having run and owned manufacturing companies in Connecticut for the last 20 years before joining CBIA. And just the keeping me up at night, the pain of trying to grow my workforce so that the business can grow, so that we can generate more for the Connecticut economy, it's amazing that would be the number one thing that would keep you up at night. But it was for me. And after joining CBIA about 18 months ago, I found out that it's the number one issue for many business leaders and many business owners. It's just, how can they grow their workforce to meet the growing demand, to realize the potential of their businesses? And it continues to be the number one issue today. I'm sure many of you are aware that the labor shortage is global, it's nationwide. And here in Connecticut, it is the number one issue to unlocking our economic potential. And it's the number one issue we hear about in all the businesses that we visit. And so that's why it energizes me so much to be part of the solution through ReadyCT and everything that Shannon and her team are doing. So this will be our number one priority for this legislative session, is addressing the workforce issue, growing the workforce in Connecticut. And as I said at the CBIA annual meeting in November, to me, the Career Pathways program is a proven program. It's the number one solution, and it should be in every school system in Connecticut. Shannon showed you the chart where we're growing the pie. And I'm the one, when I meet with Shannon, we're just conspiring to figure out how do we get this in every school system in Connecticut, because it's just such an incredible program. And the internship element of it is not only great for the businesses, but obviously it rewards the hardworking individual students who are trying to find their place in the community, trying to find their place in the workforce. And I'll just end with this, because I know we're a little over time. On the Eventbrite page that you registered, you saw an amazing picture of Shannon and the students and the governor at our CBIA annual meeting that we have in November. Every November, we invite some of the students and teachers from the Pathway program to attend that meeting. And Shannon and I received a note from one of the folks who participates in the program who said, and this is really the impact of the internship, that this year, one of the students who attended the meeting told his principal, this was the best night of his life. He felt he belonged there. He felt that people believed in him. And I think he sees himself and his future differently because of the evening. That's the impact the internships and the Pathway programs and all of you really have on individuals in Connecticut and our economy. So thanks for letting me join you this morning and share that story, and keep that in mind as you go through the details of this opportunity. So Shannon, Betsy, I'll turn it back to you. Thanks for letting me share that.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you so much for your support. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Fallon Daniels from the Hartford Public Schools.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Chris, for sharing, and also to Camille for sharing your story. It's stories like these that highlight the importance of our collaborative. And I'm here to kind of talk a little bit about how our collaborative with ReadyCT and Hartford Public Schools has been instrumental in helping to prepare students for the workforce that is out there. And so I'm going to talk a little bit very briefly about that because I know we're a little bit behind time. And so I will share with you that we deeply believe in this partnership because we know that our students' engagement and career pathways is instrumental in post-secondary success, whether it be college, career, or military. I happen to have started in Hartford Public Schools about 10 years ago. I was an assistant principal at Pathways, and there we were doing a lot of work to develop design and IT pathways and working collaboratively with Naf. I left for a short time to assume a principalship role, but when I returned, it was a pleasure, if you will, to see the amount of work that happened between ReadyCT and Hartford Public Schools. My predecessor, who's also here in the virtual space, Dr. Dolores Garcia, worked collectively with Shannon and her team, worked together with Kate Hayden and Naf to really develop multiple pathways, as you saw earlier, in Hartford Public Schools. And we're still continuing to build those pathways. And so with that being said, we currently have at least 1 to 2 pathways at each of our comprehensive high schools. And our principals are here. They can attest to the strong work that has come out of that, the increased student engagement, the number of students who are participating in work-based learning experiences, whether it's a speaker series or actually going out in the field to do internships. Our students are engaged. And when we are with our partners and collaborating, we are thinking strategically and innovatively about how to engage more students, raise awareness, and develop their skills so that they enter the workforce prepared. I want to just quickly share some quick data points. It's actually one data point. I'm going to reduce it down to, but we use a tool called Naviance, and some of the high schools may be familiar with this tool across Connecticut. And what we've seen this year is an 85% completion rate of students' post-secondary plans at the comprehensive high school. And the reason that I deeply believe that we are achieving this success is because of that partnership. When students are exposed, when students are aware of what are possibilities to them, they become active in developing their future. And so this is why I'm giving a lot of credit to my predecessors who started the foundational work through the high school redesign process to develop the pathways at our comprehensive schools. We are seeing the success as a result of that work. And so we plan to this year and in the upcoming year to develop 2 more of our pathways. We have Chuck Buter, who's done amazing work in developing the leadership in public service pathway, can't speak this morning. And then also the journalism and media pathway at Weaver High School. And so we are excited about the partnership, the collaboration, the great thinking that happens behind the work. We look forward to our upcoming career pathway signing day in March to have our students sign up, get excited, get ready. This is your year to kind of go into spaces and learn more about these themed career pathways that exist. And in short, and it's in summary of what I've shared, again, it's our partnership and these indicators that are proof of the need to be critically thinking at this time and to engaging students to really prepare them for the workforce ahead. So I just want to thank my predecessors, but also thank ReadyCT and the work that has happened thus far to really prepare and move our students forward at Hartford Public Schools. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Daniels, and thank you for allowing us to work with your students and the principals as well to get students ready for internships in the summer. At this time, I want to introduce three amazing individuals who are going to be talking about the business case and the program impact. We have Dave Smith from Stanley Black & Decker, Alex Martinez from Travelers, and Ted Galicki from the Galicki Family Foundation. Dave?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Betsy. I'm going to start off by just picking up on where Chris left off. He noted the leader of CBIA, who was very familiar with Connecticut business and the climate that we're operating in. He noted the number one priority remains developing the talent pipeline. Yesterday, I just joined Stanley a week ago. So I'm going to speak from the context of my days at Pratt, which was not that long ago, okay? And for those of you who might not know, you hear Raytheon. Raytheon Technologies is what used to be United Technologies in Connecticut. And so that merger happened a couple of years ago, for those who might not know it. So he talked about the priority being talent. You know, it's very clear to us in business, the challenge we face. We've had a seismic shift in worker and employer relationship that's probably never going to return to what it was. And so if you take out all of the last 2 years, the challenge we faced was already pretty daunting in Connecticut to attract and retain good talent, to support manufacturing and special skills in high growth industries. You throw in COVID and all the impacts it has in the displacement for workers, the reskilling, the upskilling, people leaving the workforce completely. We are up against it in business to try to attract, develop, and retain good talent. That's not going to change or go away in the foreseeable future. So when you talk about the business case and why we would consider interns and high school interns that come out of these pathways, it's very clear. It's imperative that we consider how to engage with them. I'll share an example. Last year at Pratt, we were able to have 17 high school interns with us from a couple of the pathways in the Hartford area. And it went well. It was all virtual. We learned a lot. We had been learning how to work virtually. The students had learned how to work virtually. And so we worked for the summer with these kids. And I tell you, it was an amazing experience. They got exposure. Samuel was one of our students, and he did an amazing job. And this year, we decided that, you know, we're going to run this play again. But this time, we wanted to scale to 25 students. I'll tell you, and here's really the interesting part. We put out the ask to our, you know, folks who had supervised them, the project leads, and within a week, we had confirmation on 25. It was like, yes, we want them back. In fact, if I can have 6, I'll take 6. So this is a high-tech Pratt & Whitney engine maker, and yet these students could make such an impact that it was hands down, we want them back. In fact, if I can have more, I'll take more. I'll give you one specific example, a gentleman that leads our non-destructive testing department. Non-destructive testing is you have inspections and you do different things, but every now and then you can just use maybe blue light, or you can use various fluorescent penetrant just to inspect the parts. And he says, you know, this is so great because the lead time to train inspectors, Dave, you know how long it is. It's 8 months to a year if they don't have any experience. If I can get a jump start with high school kids, oh man, I'm so far ahead of the curve. And so you see prime examples within business that we can utilize these students. I'll tell you firsthand, we've had NAF pathway interns for a number of years when I was at Pratt, probably going back 10 years, every year, 2 or 3, and they've always been amazing. And the big difference with these students, I'll tell you, is they're well prepared. The work that the ReadyCT team does and the folks at the high school, we have Principal Padro on the line as one example where these students are well prepared. They're prepared to think about how they will interact in the workplace, just like Lemuel said. He talked about some examples of what helped him, and they start right away applying those things when they get there. So I would say if you're thinking about considering maybe if I can bring on an intern, please, especially from these group of students, I don't think you'll be disappointed as well. They will contribute. You'll see the impact of their work, and they'll definitely be an added asset, a benefit to your organization. So I hope everyone can give consideration to how they might bring some of them on. Thank you.
Alex Martinez.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all virtually, and it's also great to see several familiar faces in the audience this morning. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Alex, and I've been with Travelers now for about 6 years. Currently, I'm a participant in our Technology Leadership Development Program, which is Travelers' premier program for young professionals looking to gain a foothold in the tech space within the insurance and financial services industry. And just a little bit about me in my current role, I'm working as an innovation analyst, which is actually a fairly new role for me. I have the privilege to discover and act on new ideas that we think can evolve our tech space as a means for optimizing the rest of our business. So this manifests in a multitude of ways, from gathering data and insights from emerging market research, as well as planning and executing on company-wide innovation initiatives. It's a super dynamic space. I'm really psyched to be part of it this year. I also serve as co-chair of the Industry Advisory Board at the Pathways Academy of Technology and Design. I work closely with the school administration as well as our fabulous partners at ReadyCT to bring various employers' perspectives into the classroom and beyond into internships and other work-based learning initiatives. And what makes this position so unique for me specifically is that I was once a student of Pathways Academy myself. I attended Pathways from 2010 to 2014, back when Pathways used to be in a much smaller space in Windsor, Connecticut. And I graduated from Pathways just a few short months after the school moved into the beautiful building that it resides in today on the Goodwin campus in East Hartford. So a lot of history with the school personally. It makes me really excited to work with them. As a student, I came into Pathways knowing that I had a passion for technology, but I had really little to no idea like what I wanted to do. And technology is such a broad field as it is. And with new facets being formed constantly, that sense of direction wasn't necessarily something I had until receiving a lot of the support that I did at Pathways. And so this is where the school, as well as ReadyCT, excels. The combination of STEM and tech-related courses and classes in the school, as well as the work-based learning opportunities, such as internships, helped me discover, hey, this is something that I can do. This is a field I could see myself in. And your support of this school and other schools that the ReadyCT program touches is honestly super crucial to lighting that spark for hundreds and hundreds of students like me, who generally just need somebody to show them what's out there and what's possible. In my personal experience, in 2013, I was fortunate to be able to intern with one of our industry partners, the Hartford Financial Services, in their IT space. I was probably 16 or 17, had never really worked anywhere before, had no context to really lean on aside from the skills that were imbued in me at Pathways. And I found that not only was I way more nervous than I needed to be, but I really didn't need to be nervous because the school had prepared me for that experience so well without me really even noticing it half the time. So, I can certainly attest to the the experience of what it's like from that side. And it makes me really proud to be on the other side today. I left that internship with much more insight into how businesses function, the different job families and potential roles that I could see myself fitting into. And really, above all, a newfound sense of confidence that I can do this. This is something I can see myself doing as a career. And I mean, here I am today talking to you all about it now, 6 years into Travelers and working with the board. So I'm really proud to say that as co-chair of the industry advisory board for the school, we've been working hard with the school administration, with our NAF partners and our fabulous ReadyCT team to restructure and sort of breathe new life and ideas into how the board functions. Of course, with the interests and experiences of the students at the forefront of our brains. So just today, whenever I'm at the school or whenever I'm talking to folks or talking to students, I'm just so thrilled to see how many new and innovative opportunities that they get. People that work with me regularly, especially people on the board that might be on the call today, will, of course, probably will think that I sound like a broken record because I'm always saying, man, I wish I had this when I was in high school, or man, I wish I had that program when I was here. And I'm just really incredibly thankful to be on the side of being able to put more of those experiences in front of the students today. So as I wrap up my quick 5 minutes here, I just want to thank everyone for your time, and also to thank of course, the ReadyCT team, as well as anybody present that serves for a school or a related function, because your dedication, as well as the mission that ReadyCT is on to bring these experiences to students, is just super phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to see what else we can do together. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave and Alex. Mr. Ted Galicki.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending and considering our program today. My name is Ted Galicki, and with my partner and spouse, Mary, we are the founders of the Galicki Family Foundation. One of our most important projects is the funding of paid internships at Hartford High. Last summer, there were a total of 150 interns, up from 4 when we started 4 years ago. To give you a little relevant background, prior to our retirement in 2016, Mary and I founded a company called Corporate Translations in our basement with only an idea but no sales. We grew that company to be a $40 million company over 25 years of hard work. And for the last 15 of those years, we consistently hired between 5 and 10 interns. First, we hired them from Wyndham High School when we were located in stores. And later, we hired them from East Hartford High School when we moved our offices to that town. We found that our interns were significant contributors to our company's profitability and its quality of work life. The students were happy to learn and perform the entry-level tasks in our process. In turn, these tasks were taken away from our full-time employees, allowing them to focus on work that would improve their job skills and increase their job satisfaction. The interns quickly became faster at performing these functions as they gained experience. As they increased their skills, we gave them more complex projects to work on. And ultimately, several of our interns, after they graduated from college, came back and became full-time employees at Corporate Translations. And one young woman who started at age 16 became our corporate controller at age 29. So the interns we are making available through our program will have attended and passed a 14-week course on work skills taught by ReadyCT that they will completely know your expectations regarding dress, attendance, punctuality, cell phone usage, and the like. They will be familiar with Microsoft and Excel, and they will be ready to hit the ground running when they arrive at your workplace. We have over 50 employers who have participated in the program to date, and we asked them to complete a survey on their satisfaction, and they found that generally speaking, not generally speaking, almost 100% speaking, that they were very satisfied with the performance of the interns that they had for their summer programs. The ReadyCT work-based learning coordinator works with the interns, each individual intern, to enable them to match up with an employer that matches their interest. And the employers have the opportunity to interview 3 different candidates before they make a selection. In addition, she visits each work site and each employer during the internship program period to make sure that the internship is proceeding very positively for both the employer and for the student. And if there are any problems, she resolves them as quickly as possible. So we give a similar survey to each of our past interns, and it's shown that they have gained valuable work skills in the jobs they've been offered. So they feel they've made quite an advance. ReadyCT is now adding this internship program to Weaver, Buckley, Pathways Academy, and New Britain High Schools. Obviously, as a result, we need to recruit more employers to join the program. The benefit to you is that you will have a chance to greatly enhance a student's work experience and their view of the world in total. We have found that our students have a much greater sense of the relevance of their schoolwork after they have completed an internship, and that they share that with their friends. And as a result, the learning environment in the entire high school is improved. Our ultimate hope is that our interns will return to Hartford after graduation and get a job like Alex, working with a local Hartford company, and illustrate success to the younger folks coming up, thus creating a virtuous cycle of employment success, which will be invaluable to the cultural environment of our city. So thank you for listening. Please consider employing our interns. I am certain that you will not be disappointed. And now I would like to introduce Fiona Stewart, who's a senior manager of clean energy finance at Connecticut Green Bank, and she'll share her experience working with some of our interns.
Thank you so much, Ted. As mentioned, I'm Fiona Stewart from the Connecticut Green Bank. I'm on the Clean Energy and Investments team here, and I've been at the Green Bank for about 9 years now. Oh, sorry, it's hard to hear me. 1 second. Maybe if I get a little closer. Ow. I will, can you hear me better now?
You're good.
Okay, great. So just a quick background on who the Connecticut Green Bank is. We are a quasi-public agency that is dedicated to confronting climate change and providing a healthier, more prosperous future for all by increasing and accelerating the flow of private capital into markets that energize the green economy. While last year was the second year that the Green Bank participated in the ReadyCT program, it was my team's first year and my first year as a supervisor. Our team is relatively small for the work that we do, and we wear a lot of different hats, from structuring finance mechanisms and programs. We negotiate legal documents, we underwrite loans for clean energy upgrades, and a lot more. We typically hire graduate students for our summer internships, and more often than not, they often have a background in clean energy and financial modeling. But we were really excited to have someone younger who is new to essentially everything and looking to explore their future career options come on. But similar to how we approach our graduate summer internships, we had prepared a number of different projects for our ReadyCT intern to work on that were integral to our team and specifically focused on asset management for our fleet of solar projects that we own. No one likes busy work, so we tried to come up with projects that would be beneficial and fundamental to the work that we do. And I think that was really helpful in grounding both us and our intern. So we focused on helping build some skills that would help our intern in the future. And as many people mentioned, our intern was very well prepared when they came in. So it was really just building on those foundations of Outlook and Excel, PowerPoint, communications, running meetings, and then generally just some general office and interpersonal skills. Over the course of the 6 weeks, our intern completed 4 different projects that range from pulling data from legal documents, data management, and Excel, navigating and using Salesforce, which is our online customer relationship manager, and then reading and pulling data from solar electrical drawings. He was able to interact across different teams with the company and with external partners. Specifically, we were hybrid last year, so in the office a couple of days and then remote. And that is kind of perfect for specifically my team, because our team works across the US and we have somebody that's international as well. So it was really an opportunity to get comfortable with this hybrid working environment and get comfortable on Teams, which we use to communicate. So each week, along with the other meetings that we had internally and externally, our intern led a meeting that was to show us the progress that he was making on the different projects that he had. I also sat down with him every week to chat about any questions that came up from each of those meetings or any of the work that he was working on, help him sign up for webinars that would help him learn more about the green energy space, and then help him fine tune his end of internship presentation, which is something that we do for all of our interns, grad or ReadyCT now. And he had the opportunity to sit down for with a couple of different colleagues for more one-on-one training in Excel and Salesforce, both tools that we think are definitely widely used across different companies and careers. He closed out his last day with a final presentation, not only to our team, but to our chief investment officer and then our director of operations as well. And it was talking about his experience, what he learned, and the projects that he worked on. Overall, for us, it was a really terrific experience. Working with Betsy and Brittany prior to and throughout the summer was really great. The ReadyCT program is a wonderful opportunity, and I encourage all of you to participate and spread the word about it. We are already looking at different projects that we can have for this summer, hopefully taking on 1 or 2 more interns, not only with my team, but maybe across some of the other teams as well. And I'm happy to chat with any of you about my experience. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on and sharing it with you today.
Thank you, Fiona. At this time, I would like to introduce Pathways Academy student Anthony Washington. He is a senior, class of 22.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Hi, I'm Anthony Washington. I am a senior at Pathways Academy. In college, I hope to dive into CS, computer science, economics, technology, IT related stuff. I am a student ambassador at Pathways, which means I help students, my peers, help with internship related activities, help them hopefully gain the internship, learn about internships, and just tell them the benefits and why internship is beneficial to them. ReadyCT has helped me gain internship, more importantly, the internship that I had last summer, which was a Cigna internship, which I actually met Mr. Patty, which she helped me a lot, and I was able to get internship at Cigna. Today, I'm going to talk about Cigna, what I did at Cigna, and some specific projects that I did. ReadyCT helped me a bunch with the internship process. They helped me actually get the internship. I did a ton of interviews, so I was able to public speak. I was able to do a lot of meetings like this and able to just express myself and express what I did during my time at Cigna and other internships. So at Cigna, the main project, there was 2 things. I did a summer project and I did a role work. Role work was just a certain specific thing where I had to, my role work was I had to create chatbots for Cigna. I used a program called Core AI, which I used to make little chatbots to help with Cigna-based stuff, like asking a user what insurance that they have, and then it would lead them to the Cigna site, in which they would get information back based on whatever questions that they asked the chatbot. More importantly, the summer project was the summer innovations project was I had to create an app with a team. My team was based on about 10 to 15 people, and which we worked together. They were college interns and I was the only high school intern. So the the connection was a little bit off since they were like older than me, and I had to push myself in order to create the same amount of effort and work that they put in. The goal of the app was to help people with sleeping problems, sleep conditions like sleep apnea and insomnia. The app was used to maintain like the schedules of the people. When they went to the app, they were like given a questionnaire, and they had to answer based on whatever sleep condition that they had. And based on that, it would tailor them information and websites to go to help them with that specific problem. The app also contained a calendar in which they could schedule their day, so they were able to complete whatever task that they needed to do before the end of the day, so they can get a proper amount of sleep. There was also a chart to maintain the sleeping schedule, so you can see where you're lacking and where you're improving, and just to see where your overall health was. As for the contributions that I did a lot of stuff during the internship. I did back-end stuff in which I was coding the app, and I also did front-end stuff, which was like more like graphic design type stuff, where we were making the framework and putting the app into place and making it just look pretty. I also learned a bunch of stuff that I haven't learned. I learned about databases with SQL and a bunch of stuff that I haven't learned in school. So basically, the internship did provide a lot of information that I haven't learned at school. And that's why internships is really good, because not only are you in a work environment, but you're also learning. And that's the best thing about an internship, is that, just learning. Everything's a learning experience, and just it's great. Well, I talked about raw work, and that was like with Core AI and the app. I guess I can talk about the impact the internship had on me. Definitely, it had a wonderful impact. Hopefully I can internship with Cigna again. I had a great time. I had a great experience. The people there were amazing. Everyone was welcoming, and I learned a lot during my time. Within internship, I was able to experience a work environment. I was able to pull things out of there so I can work to a future job or future employment. It definitely expanded my research and expanded my knowledge on computer science and things relating to such. Definitely stretched my horizons like a lot, because I was able to connect with people that I didn't think I would connect at all. I was able to build connections. I was able to network with a lot of people. And right now, a lot of connections brought me to where I am right now. And I'm really thankful for that. Definitely the internship process was was different for me. Getting all the applications in, getting all the paperwork in was definitely a struggle for me, but it definitely is going to help me for a future employment when I have to do that by myself, because I had to do that. I had to ask my parents for some help, but overall, I was able to get it by myself, asking questions, reaching out to people to see, networking, collaborating. It was a really strong process in building what I am today. But as an overall, the internship was a great experience. I learned a lot. I was able to I was monetarily paid, not only in money, but I was paid in experience. And that's the best part of an internship, is that, you're working, but at the same time, you're learning in the process. So, yeah.
Thank you, Anthony. At this time, I would like to welcome Jadia Rivera de Jesus. He is a Hartford High student, class of 22.
Good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
I'm Jadia Rivera. I'm a senior at Hartford Public High School. I am also a student ambassador for the engineering department of Hartford Public High School. And what I would like to talk about today is all my experiences throughout high school and internship. My high school experience, it really changed after I met Betsy and the ReadyCT team. After I met them, we got workshops through our training was resume workshops and mock interview, just to train us on how to build a resume and what to expect in an interview. Throughout that experience, I got to do internships like Pratt and Whitney, which was very cool, very fun. They didn't treat us like high school students. They taught us like college students. They give us work like college interns. I got internships with Ben Ann. I got to learn how a battery works, what to do how much liquid goes into a battery. And all throughout those internships, I learned responsibilities, organization, and mostly what to do if something goes wrong, because a lot of things went wrong in some situations, but me and some of our supervisors got through it. Well, in Powell Labs, which was my other internship, I learned how to use machines and programs like CAD, laser cutters, and woodworking, CNC machines. So, and before I did Powell Labs, I actually learned how to do an Excel course with ReadyCT. That's it. That's all I prepared, sorry.
Thank you, Jadia. Again, thank you to Fiona, Anthony, and Jadia for sharing your experiences with us. At this time, I would like to talk about, you heard all of our speakers talk about how we prepare our students for your internships, and I've seen some questions in the chat box as well. So we work with students. We have the luxury of working with students since the beginning of the school year. So what we do is we meet with students either during the school day, after school, to prepare them for your internships. We make sure that we help them gain those soft skills that employers are looking for. Schools are designed to teach our students those hard skills, right? Math and reading and English and science. They're not really designed to teach students how to get to work on time, how to properly verbally communicate, or how to open up a bank account. So we're the ones that help students gain those skills. And we do that through workshops. And we make sure that we are making sure our students are ready for you. So we work with them, make sure they know how to interview. They know how to verbally communicate. They know how to non-verbally communicate. They know when to be on their phones and not to be on the phones, and getting to work on time. I always tell students, if you start at 9 o'clock and get there at 8:55, you are late. You should be there 10 minutes or 15 minutes earlier. So we prepare our students with all sorts of skills starting from their freshman year. So by the time they are seniors, when they start with us, they have a very short resume. By the time that they are seniors, because they've taken advantage of all the workshops and opportunities that we've been able to provide to them, they usually have about 2 pages, a 2-page resume. So, we want to make sure that interns are ready for you. We not only, and Fiona could talk about this, we don't place any intern, you don't meet your intern on the first day of work. What we do is we ask you for a job description. Students look at job descriptions, they tell us where they want to interview, and then we set up an interview with you. So you'll be able to interview various interns and pick the intern that is best fits what your organization or your employer, your job site. And our interns also get to choose where they want to intern. So usually if I would have to say that I've been doing this for 3 years. Very few interns don't finish their internships. Most, if not all of our interns are a great fit and they finish their internships. We also, as program managers and work-based learning coordinators, keep in contact with all employers throughout the summer. And we make sure that our interns are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we work closely with the interns during the summer as well as the employers. And these are just some of the employers we've worked with, we're currently working with and have worked with in the past. There are many, many more, but these are just some of the ones that we have been working with or have worked with. And these are just some scenes from our summer internship this past summer. If the first picture, we have 2 interns that did an internship at New England Bioassay, is a research lab in Manchester. We also have interns that work in office settings, as well as labs. You'll see, Jadia spoke about Banyan Energy. I have a picture here of another intern working at Banyan Energy, where he's learning, how to mix solutions for the batteries. We have Asan at the bottom left. He was Fiona's intern, and you'll see him there on the computer. We also have non-paid internships as well. And we had 2 amazing young ladies do internships with KeyBank, and those were non-paid. And we also do internships with community partners, nonprofit organizations. So at the bottom right, we had 2 interns working with iQuilt. And so we partner with all sorts of employers, for-profit, nonprofit, in order to provide our interns with opportunities. So at this time, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us. I also want to say thank you to our Career Pathways team. There's a lot of us this year, so I'm so happy, but I want to say thank you to Gloria and Carolina, Sarita, Brittany, Kevin, Dion, CJ, Nyla, Cheryl, and Shannon as well. And so for the next half an hour, we are going to stay on. We will answer any questions you have. This is our Q&A. If you have questions for Fiona, you're more than welcome to ask her. And we also have our interns still here. If you have any questions for them, they'll be able to answer those questions as well. Shannon, is there anything you would like to add?
I'll just say that I know there's a lot of questions going in the chat. If you aren't able to hear the answer or didn't get the answer, definitely email us at info@readyct.org, and we will point you in the right direction very quickly. So thank you. Just want to echo Betsy's gratitude and the whole team. And again, all of the partners. It would not be possible without all of you. So I will stop sharing, and then we will just hang out, and it'll be just an open Q&A and networking for those who are able to stay. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, this is Rick Smith. I'd like to ask a question related to more of the details in the matching process. Do you hand resumes of the students to the employers, and then they select the people they want to interview, or how does that work?
So the process is around this time in January, we ask employers if they're interested in hosting an intern. If you say yes, we will ask you to submit a job description form and an intern request form as well. Once we have those 2 pieces of information, we share it with our interns. Interns will look at the job descriptions, tell us where they would like to interview. If we have several interns that would like to interview with your company, then we will send you all of their resumes, and you will look at them. Then we will set up times for you to interview them. So let's say you're looking for 2 interns, you might be interviewing 8 interns for your 2 positions. At the end of the interview process, you will let us know which interns you are interested in. I usually tell employers, if you have 2 positions, pick 4 to 5 interns, because those interns are also interviewing for other sites, right? We want to make this as real as possible. We want our interns to feel what it's like to actually compete for a position in the real world. And then once you select your interns, we would go back and tell interns, you were the number 1 pick for these 2 companies. Where do you think you fit best, And then they will let us know where they would like to go. And then we will then contact you, let you know who your intern will be. And then we also have an employer orientation before your interns start with you. We will have an orientation with you and make sure that we answer all questions. We go through the protocol, the process. So you will know who your interns are, and there is a selection process.
Sounds good. A follow-up question on that is the nonprofits. Who pays? You alluded in the chat that there may be some source of funding available, but for nonprofits specifically, they could be very rewarding internships, but if students aren't getting paid, they may not be interested.
Shannon, you want to answer that question? You want me to answer it?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to. We have different arrangements with different pathways, so it depends on the pathway and the match with that particular placement. There are places where, like Ted Dolicki shared around the program that he supports. There's an opportunity for paid internships for all students at Hartford Public High School who are interested, up to a cap, but we've been able to accommodate all interested students who are looking for a paid internship from that particular school, which has two pathways present in it, both an engineering pathway and an allied health pathway. In other places where that funding is not available, we do a lot of pairing up with the Summer Youth Employment Program. So we will find the site, the host site, we will prepare the student, but then we patch into the resources from the city of Hartford to provide that stipend for the student to cover the cost. And then in other places, we do a creative arrangement where it's a cost share, where it's part employer, part subsidized. There's just a lot of different arrangements. So I think it's helpful to know what specific pathway aligns with your interest and placement, and then we can figure out how we cover that cost.
Great, thank you. I am a commissioner with the Economic Development Commission in Monroe, Connecticut. We're interested, our high school showed interest in starting an internship program. So what's my next step?
So we're actually, obviously you've seen we're very concentrated in the greater Hartford area, but we are a statewide organization. So as Chris had mentioned at the top of the hour, we are looking at new partnerships in other parts of the state, actually meeting with superintendents from the Valley, Connecticut Valley area, Ansonia, Derby, Shelton, Seymour, Oxford this afternoon, Naugatuck. So I think it's starting to get closer to Monroe. I think we could have some conversations about what that would look like. And we're also part of a network with the Fairfield County Community Foundation. So we're starting to spread into other parts of the state, and would be happy to talk to you about what resources might be available. And we do a lot of different arrangements. We do everything from something that's very short term, a series of workshops that we can put together for a school district and deliver those and kind of build the capacity of the school to do this work themselves. Or we can do a more intensive embedded model like we've been talking about today, and then everything in between. So happy to talk offline more about those options.
Great, I look forward to it, Shannon. I'll get, or Betsy, I'll get the director of the EDC, and we'll try to set up some time where we can talk to you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. Someone asked a question, how do employers get in contact with students that meet the needs of the employer? If you are interested in hosting an intern or learning more about our internship program, please visit our website. And on there, you'll be able to send out an email. We'll get it and we'll direct it to the appropriate program manager or work-based learning coordinator. It all depends on the industry that you're in. So if you're in insurance, then we will have Sarita Rawlings get in contact with you from our insurance and finance pathway. If you're interested in allied health, that would be me, and I will contact you. So just go onto our website, you'll see our an email on there, and you'll be able to email us.
And Betsy, there was a question in the chat about the typical duration of an internship. Can you speak to that?
Yep. So most internships are between 80 to 120 hours. So your internship, it all depends on your availability. So you can have an intern from 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks. It all depends on how many hours a week you are able to host an intern. But the typical total number of hours is 80 to 120 hours.
We also have a question in the chat with respect to ReadyCT working with Capital Workforce Partners. Shannon, that's something you could speak to?
Yeah, we're definitely, I mean, the Summer Youth Employment Program that I mentioned previously is actually run through CWP. And so we do a lot of parent partnering with them and their community-based partners in the area to, again, coordinate. We find the placement, they have the resources and also additional complementary supports for the students. So we're always working in tandem with other partners within both the city of Hartford and the greater Hartford area. We're also part of a coalition that is the greater effort of which is to better coordinate across different partnerships. So and as Bob stated, we are more focused obviously on youth and the K-12 system, whereas CWP is more focused on the adult population, but there's a lot to learn on both sides. So always looking for those cross-pollination opportunities.
Hi, just quick question. You said this presentation is going to be that was presented is going to be shared with those on the call?
Yeah, we'll send a follow-up email closing out the event, and we'll include the PowerPoint presentation as well as a link to the recording.
Thank you.
Kate, not to put you on the spot, Kate, but Kate Hayden is a critical partner of ours from Naf, which is, as I mentioned at the top of the presentation, is a national partner and provides the framework on which many of all the pathways we're currently working with are based on. I don't know, Kate, if you want to add anything.
Thank you so much, Shannon. This is fantastic. This has been such a wonderful event, hearing from the students, hearing from the business partners that are engaged with students already. It doesn't get better than this. So I just really love to see this type of collaboration, the brain trust that's here, people who've done this, and the energy and enthusiasm from those that are eager to learn from them is really cool. So, you know, NAF is a national nonprofit. We support this work all over the country. I'm proud to be a partner with ReadyCT in this work. They're the ones with the boots on the ground making things happen. And boy, are they making things happen. So it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you, Shannon.
All right, any other final questions? Comments?
Well, this is Rick again, just a humorous. Kemuel should be congratulated on his creativity in signal processing. If you look behind him, he's got some kind of strange antenna that he set up in the office that he was in. It was humorous during his discussion.
All right, well, thank you all. Again, the ReadyCT team will kind of hang out, if any, but for another 5 minutes or so. But definitely email info@readyct.org if you're interested. We hope you will consider an intern or two this coming summer. And don't hesitate to reach out with questions or suggestions about the work we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Great work, team. This was awesome.
Yeah, really.
Thank you, Kate. Betsy, is Jadia still there with you? Is he done with his intern or his his midterms? No.
I don't think so. He's upstairs.
Yeah, he's with me, still working.
Is he working on his midterm? All right,
Mhm.
good. Good for him.
We're sending him good luck, good energy.
Yes, because then I'm in trouble if he doesn't finish. And I do not want to get yelled at by Dr. Coleman.
You worked some magic on that one. All right. Well, nice to see the team. We'll be seeing more of each other later. I think we could probably close things up, Cheryl, if you think we're good, and the recording, and we'll be debriefing later. So thank you all.